All right, today we're going to jump into this incredible story from the ancient book of Kings. It's called The Fire and the Whisper. And honestly, it holds this surprisingly powerful lesson for us right now about how to find the real signal through all of today's noise.
I mean, just think about it for a second. The constant pings, the endless scrolling, that feeling of just running on empty. It feels like a totally modern kind of exhaustion, right? But what if I told you this feeling is actually thousands of years old?
So, that brings us to our first section. We're calling it The World's Loudest Silence. It's all about that really strange paradox of our world today. We are hyper-connected to everything all the time, and yet so many of us feel completely isolated and totally unheard.
And this is what's so fascinating. When you put our modern overload, doom scrolling, burnout, constant distraction, right next to the struggles of an ancient prophet named Elijah, we'll look at his list. Fear, isolation, exhaustion. The technology is completely different, of course, but that feeling of being overwhelmed, man, that is absolutely timeless.
Okay, so let's properly meet this guy, Elijah. Because where we pick up his story, yeah, he's the hero, for sure. But he is also at his absolute rock-bottom breaking point. And listen, Elijah wasn't just some nobody. This was a man at the peak of his power, a famous prophet who had just pulled off a huge public miracle. But right after this massive victory, he gets a death threat from the powerful Queen Jezebel, and he just snaps. He's terrified, he runs for his life, and he is 100% convinced that he is all alone. So he travels for 40 days, all the way to the sacred mountain Horeb, just desperate for an answer from God.
And this is where the story gets really dramatic. Alone on this mountain, Elijah is waiting for a sign. A big, loud, undeniable message that's going to solve everything. And we get this, don't we? We're kind of drawn to the spectacle, waiting for that one huge event to give us clarity. Well, Elijah was no different.
So first, a hurricane-force wind just rips through the mountains, so powerful it's literally shattering the rocks around him. You can just imagine him thinking, this is it, this has to be the sign. But the story makes a crucial point. God was not in the wind.
Then, after the wind, the ground itself starts to tremble. A massive earthquake shakes the entire mountain. Surely this is the grand display he was waiting for. But again, nope. The text is super clear. God was not in the earthquake.
And then finally, a raging fire sweeps across the mountain. So you've got the trifecta of raw, elemental power here. Wind, earthquake, and fire, each one louder and more dramatic than the last. But the story repeats itself. The answer Elijah was looking for was not in the fire.
And this right here, is the turning point. After all that spectacle, all that noise and chaos, something changes.
After the fire, there was what the original text describes as a still, small voice. A lot of translations call it a gentle whisper. It was in the silence, the quiet that followed the storm, that the real communication finally happened.
So, what exactly is this gentle whisper? It's a concept that goes way beyond just this one story. It represents that profound insight, that moment of clarity, that truth that doesn't scream and shout for your attention. It's the signal you can only pick up when you finally tune out the noise. So, how does this ancient story actually help us, right here, right now? Let's bring this lesson directly into the 21st century. That wind, the earthquake, and the fire. For us, that's the constant buzz of our phones. It's the endless social media feed, the 24/7 news cycle, and that pressure to always be on. We're looking for our answers in all the loudest possible places. And just like Elijah, we might be missing the point entirely. So, what can we actually do about it? Well, here are 3 simple steps inspired by Elijah's story. First, you have to consciously unplug from the chaos. Put the phone down, turn off the news. Second, embrace stillness, whether that's a walk in nature, meditation, or just 5 minutes of silence. And third, you have to listen without expectation. Don't search for some big, dramatic answer. Just be open to the quiet insight that can show up when you finally give it some space. And that leaves us with this final question to think about. What is the fire, the earthquake, or the wind in your life? What's the noise that you need to look past in order to hear that gentle whisper of clarity you've been searching for?